Okay, thank you so much for being here. My name is Marlene Cervantes. I am the ATC Job Placement Coordinator. Um, we are going to talk about finding opportunities, job research, skills that work with Deborah. But before Deborah starts introducing herself, I want to pass the word to Adelia so she can say something.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adelia Parker. I am at the United Way as the ETC Workforce Relations Coordinator. We're excited that you decided to join in on this conversation and that we hope it's going to be very helpful as you continue to work through your career. And Deborah, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I am Deborah Stone. I am the Workforce and Career Development Assistant at Pellissippi State Community College, and I am happy to be here. Today, we are going to be talking about the practical job search skills that can help you find opportunities. Should I just go ahead and keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So today we will discuss emails, job search, websites, responding to recruiters, interviewing, following up, and staying organized throughout the process. I'll share a little bit about me. I have been on the job market for the last 6 months. I am in a very competitive job market in human resources. And so during this process, I have learned so much about what it takes to find that right role and how to stick out. So some of this information that I'm sharing with you, I have learned myself over the last several months, and I'm happy to share it with everybody. Okay, so job searching is a skill. Many people think something is wrong if they don't get that first job that they applied for. The reality is that job searching takes time. Every application, interview, and conversation helps you learn and improve. Before you start, oh, I'm sorry, how employees communicate or how employers communicate. Employers communicate many ways. Missing an email, a voicemail, or text can mean an opportunity that you lost. Part of being successful in your job search is checking communication regularly. Before applying, make sure employers can easily reach you. Voicemail should be set up and it should be professional. Your email address should also be simple and appropriate. For example, if someone is seeing an email or a recruiter is seeing an unusual email address, it can cause the recruiter to have pause. For example, I am in my early 50s. I have a Hotmail account. That ages me. So when I went on the job market again, I switched my email address to have my a Gmail account. That's a more modern account. Another thing you want to do with the voicemail, and I've heard this from calling applicants myself, is hearing music in the background. That's a no-no. Using slang or laid back verbiage, that might turn the recruiter off. So, email is still one of the primary ways employers like to communicate with candidates. A well-written email creates a positive first impression. So, set up it Grammarly on your either on your phone or on your computer so that you can use that. Make sure you're reading your messages out loud, or you can even ask a trusted person to proofread your email. I have my husband, I will ask him to read a cover letter for me before I send it out. And you want it to sound like yourself, but still be professional. So when you're sending an email, you want to make sure that you have a clear subject line. And sometimes if you met someone, say you met someone at a networking event, maybe you want to reference that networking event in the subject. That way they're going to that's going to grab their attention rather than it looking like junk email or spam. You want to grab their attention with the subject line. You want to be professional. Use their name. I recommend not using Mr., Mrs., Ms. You want to use their full name because we want to be considerate of people that have preferred pronouns. You know, people's names, you might assume that it's a female name, but it's a male. So I avoid saying that Miss, Mr., or Mrs. I just say their full name. And you want to make sure that you're spelling it correctly. One little pet peeve of mine is I don't like the name Debbie, and people will respond back and they'll call me Debbie. Or maybe they'll spell my name Debrah, I think is how they will spell it. But no, my name is Debra. So when you're responding, make sure you're using that correct spelling and their correct information. So when recruiters call you, treat that conversation like an opportunity. You don't always need to answer immediately, especially if you're in a bad environment. And I'll give you an example of that. I was at the gym the other week and I noticed that someone was calling me. I didn't pick up. I had my headphones on, my music was playing, it was loud. And so I let it go to voicemail. And I noticed that it was a recruiter. And I was excited. Now I don't want to wait a couple of hours. So what I did is I, left the gym. I went out to the car. I made sure I had a piece of paper and pencil. And then I also took the Bluetooth off my phone or off the car in case you have that. You just want to speak into your phone because it's just clearer than if you're talking, in the car itself. I just find it's a little easier that way. And then you're able to have that conversation and allow me to also focus. I was able to prepare for that conversation. They were asking me about a company that I had previously applied to and interviewed with. So I wanted to make sure I had those names and that job title and when I applied in the past. I want to have all that information ready when I return that recruiter's call. Okay, when you're scheduling an interview, you want to respond promptly. You want to offer several options and be flexible. And then confirm dates and write it down. When they send you the RSVP, make sure you RSVP promptly as well. When you're responding with your options, and I get this all the time, but when are you available? You don't want to say, because you're excited, oh my gosh, I got an email, I got an interview coming, and you're going to say, I'm ready this afternoon or tomorrow. Don't be overexcited. Take a deep breath, look at your calendar, and then respond. So you can say, thank you for reaching out. I am available Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday morning or Thursday after 1 p.m. Please let me know if those times do not work for you, and I can make myself available based on your scheduling needs. Know yourself when scheduling. If you're not a morning person, try to schedule in the afternoon. But remember that later in the day, the more tired the interviewer might be. So keep that in mind. I'm not a morning person, and I have had to be downtown in Knoxville at 8:30, meaning I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and that was not fun, but that's what it was. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe the next time I want to say more like 10 o'clock. Maybe I need a little bit more of a second cup of coffee before I have to go and do that interview. But then, like I said, if you have that interview at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that recruiter has been speaking to people all day. They're getting exhausted. So you want to keep that in mind when you're interviewing or scheduling your interview. when you're looking for opportunities online, you want to make sure you target your search so you get better results. So what I have here is an example of different platforms that you can use and what works best for a particular job type. So Indeed is great for a general job search. You can type in remote if you wanted remote. You can put in the radius of where you want to travel to, the job titles. You can set up your Indeed profile so that you can have your resume in there that you can just easily apply. LinkedIn is great for networking and professional visibility. That's good to get on there as a new employee, but understand that people that are on there have years and years of experience, so don't get intimidated by that. It's just a great way to start networking. There's Flex Jobs, which has remote and flexible work. Simply Hired has a broad job search platform. Idealist, I love this one. That is for nonprofit and mission-driven organizations. Another great thing with Idealist is they have opportunities to volunteer as well. So if you're looking to get into a certain type of environment, you can volunteer in that area as well. Say you want to you're going to school to be a vet tech. Well, you can potentially volunteer at one of the animal clinics. So you can look at that as well as looking for job opportunities. And then Handshake, as for Pellissippi, we use Handshake, and that is great for students and recent graduates to find job opportunities as well. Okay, so when applying for a job, you want to read the full posting clearly, beginning to end. Sometimes I actually go right to the qualifications to even see if I qualify for the job. Now, if you don't qualify 100%, that's okay. They're still going to look at you, but make sure you do have the required qualifications. And then you want to tailor your resume to match that job description. ChatGPT is great for this. You can put in the job posting and your resume and just say, what am I missing? And it'll give you some prompts. And then you can tweak your resume to meet the needs of that particular job posting. You want to apply early, within 24 to 48 hours. So be checking that, those job sites for job openings. And as soon as you see something you like, get that done. Now, don't rush it. Take your time. If you see something that's really awesome, don't just hit, easy apply. You want to take your time to make sure your resume is, it applies to that particular job posting. One thing that I've learned through my experience is you can't rely on memory. You have to save every posting because many employers may remove the posting after the position closes. Then you may get the interview and you try to find that job description to prepare for the interview, but it's gone. So make sure you're saving it so you can prepare. And you want to track your applications. So I have a job tracker. You want to have that so you can, follow along with your job applications. And I'll go into more detail about that on this slide. So the job tracker keeps you organized. It helps prevent missed opportunities. You want to have the company name, the job title, the date applied, interview dates, and you may have 2, 3 interviews throughout the process. So you want to make sure you track each date and who you meet at each time, and then their job titles. Any follow-up dates, you want to track that. If you have a contact name, say someone referred you to the position, you want to have their information on the job tracker. So maybe you can mention that in your interview. Another tip is before interviewing, see whether you may know anybody at the company. A family member might work there, a teacher might have connection. That may help you. A LinkedIn contact. I go on to LinkedIn all the time to see if there's any mutual connections that can speak for me. And networking can really provide a valuable insight. If you do reach out, maybe a teacher can say, hey, I know that company, they're going through a lot of change. I don't think this is the right role for you right now. Maybe you want to wait. Or maybe they'll say something like, oh, it's a wonderful company. I know the hiring manager. I'll speak to them for you. So use that networking. You want to send thank you emails to help you stand out. Many candidates never send one, but you want to be sure to send one out. Send it within the first 24 hours. You want to thank them for their time, reaffirm interest, and mention a key discussion point. So if you were talking about an expansion of a new site, say in Lenore City, during that conversation, you can mention that. You want to be specific in that thank you, because those people that do send thank yous often send just this vague, oh, I'm really interested. It was a great conversation. You want to stand out by mentioning something specific that you discussed in that interview. And then you want to make sure that you include everybody that was in the interview. Now, sometimes you don't get their information. That has happened to me, but I'll email it to the recruiter and say, please pass this on to these folks who I interviewed with, and then they'll pass it on. So you want to follow up as well. When you follow up, you want to stay professional. You want to keep the message short, and you want to express continued interest. Usually, if I don't hear anything between 5 or 7 business days, or unless a timeline has been provided, I will reach out and I'll just say, hey, just checking in. I'm still interested in the role, wanting to know if you made any decisions or you've updated your timeline. Very quick, but you're just letting them know you still have interest. Sometimes then they'll come back to you and say, okay, we pick someone else, and but then you know that, which is fine. Sometimes you don't get a response, and that's okay. They at least know that you're still interested. Okay, so rejection. Rejection is part of almost every job search. The rejection does not define your future. You have to remember that. The job offer was just given to the right person, and that right person wasn't you because you are a right person for another organization. You just haven't gotten that offer yet. So stay positive when you get those rejections, but also use those rejections as a time to learn. So what I do is when I receive a rejection email, I respond back. I say, thank you for letting me know. If you have any feedback that may help me in the future with future opportunities, I would greatly appreciate it. So you see if you can get any feedback. They don't always respond to that either, and that's okay. But sometimes you do. And when you do get feedback, like I've received feedback, and in an HR role, I was told that I focus my answers more on employee experience than the bottom line. I said, okay. Then I took that seriously and I did some digging, and I'm like, okay, what metrics should I be mentioning when I'm interviewing? How do I balance the employee experience with some metrics to reflect on how I improve the bottom line? So take that feedback and try to work with it in future emails, or I'm sorry, future interviews. Okay, small habits to stand out. These habits are often as much, no, I'm sorry, these habits often matter as much as experience. So make sure you're checking your email daily. You respond promptly, you stay organized, you follow through, and you keep learning. And 4 things to remember. I think I'm kind of going over this twice. I'm driving it home to you all. Success doesn't happen at once. Small habits repeated consistently can create opportunities over time. So, as I said, check your voicemail, check your emails, use those job searches, stay organized, and follow through. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the workforce development team at Pellissippi. You can use your Centro Hispano resources and just keep moving forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah. I think, I don't know, I get very passionate about this type of presentations because even though you hear all the time these tips, it's never enough to hear them back all the time. Because when you are looking for a job, all of those things that you mentioned are gonna arise. So it's very important to keep to remind ourselves all of these steps. Please, you don't know how many emails I've received from people that use their, like as you mentioned, like whenever they were teenagers and this have this accounts, because I did it too. I did it too. And you don't know, nowadays, you don't know if that's a spam or not. So you gotta be careful. You gotta keep an email that looks professional. And if my name is Marlene Cervantes, at least I need to put my last name or my name or my full name so they know that I am the person who is applying for something, no?
Yeah.
And just keep professional. I think that's key. That's key. And I've seen a lot of unsuccessful job applies because of that, because we leave behind that professional part. And it's the line is very fine. So we have to be careful with that. And I don't know. Again, I don't have questions. I just wanted to make those reminders for you all. So you keep that in mind. I know sometimes it's really frustrating trying to get a job, but it's like an extra job for us. If we really want to try to get a job, it's like an extra job. I mean, I love the tracking thing. I don't know if you have an app or you just do it like in a Google Sheet or an Excel or
I have an Excel spreadsheet.
I love that. I didn't have that idea in mind. Now I'm gonna have it because it's really useful. You want to know, you want to have all the information together and know where you applied, because then, like, it happens. You can get confused and then apply for another, just talking about one job application that it's not the application that you want or you wanted to apply. It's crazy. And getting nervous and getting anxious about the situation can make you feel like you're lost. So please, just, I think that exercise, it's amazing. Just keep track of the applications that you have. I don't know if you have something to say, Adelia.
Yeah, Deborah, you did such an amazing job and you gave so much insightful information. When you were
I was
talking about
trying to stop sharing because
oh,
then I
It's
lost
fine.
you.
It's
yeah,
fine. We still see the screen. No worries.
um,
No
But
worries.
you were saying something about the email address and how you created one specifically as you began your job search. And it made me think of this tip that I saw where you can create, like, put your picture as your profile, like, on Google, where like, if you don't put anything, it just has your initials, but you can actually upload a picture to Marlena's point. It makes you look more like a real person than spam, as long as it's a professional photo.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I love the tracker idea. And you all are so right that applying for a job sometimes can feel like such a long and tedious process. One of the things that I remember, like I realize, is that even if a recruiter or you get that email that says, right now this isn't a good fit, still s- stay in touch. Don't be like bothersome, but they have a talent pool that your application
Hmm.
will likely stay in. And so just recognizing that it may not be a good fit for one particular role, but if you maintain a solid relationship with the recruiter or the person that maybe you've had your first interview with or the phone interview with, they can keep you top of mind. So I love how you were talking about the different ways to stand out and leaning into your network, because when I think about a career opportunities I've had, it's literally come off of me having a conversation with the previous employer or someone in my network to say, I'm actually looking and these are the things that I would be good at. It's almost like dating, getting set up on a blind date
Hmm.
with someone versus going on an app. It's a warmer introduction because this person already knows some of the things that you're good at,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they can speak to that on your behalf. So this was
One,
really, really helpful.
I'm sorry, you reminded me of something that I didn't put on the presentation is when you're networking, have an elevator pitch
Mhm.
prepared. Always
Oh,
have
Yeah.
an elevator pitch prepared and practice it in the mirror so it sounds natural. But when someone says, "Oh, what do you do?" or "What are you looking for?" you're able to really articulate that well.
Yes. And this is a shameless plug for U Science. If you're an ETC participant and you have not completed your U Science assessment, it is a good opportunity for you to do so because it will highlight the things that you actually do
Mhm.
well and
mhm.
you do them well naturally. And so sometimes because they're the things that we were just born to shine in, it's easy to overlook those things. But completing your youth science assessment will give you the language to be able to highlight your strengths and the things that you are good at in community and in the workplace. So shameless plug for youth science. If you haven't taken the assessment, please reach
No,
out to
but I
me or
love it.
Marlene
I love
to do
it.
so.
When I did my U Science, I was like, my mind just exploded. I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, this thing, of course, you're putting your information based on your experiences and your skills and blah blah blah. But it's so accurate that it will help you to tailor your resume. And I'm always telling them, like, read it. Read the whole document because
Hmm.
it will let you know how good you are in certain things and it makes you feel like very empowered whenever you just writing your resume or just writing your cover letter or trying to contact someone or for your interview. Just simple as
Hmm.
that. If you know yourself, if you're reading like what are you good at, then it's going to be easier for you to just go to an interview and say, yes,
Yeah.
I am this. I know how to do this. I'm very good at this. I'm not as good at this, but I can improve that skill.
Yes,
I think U
absolutely.
Science is a great tool. So thank you for reminding us that,
Yes.
Adelia.
And to Deborah's point earlier, sometimes it takes longer than you may want. Sometimes it's harder than we think. But don't let that make you, as you're on your job search, feel discouraged or unmotivated or like you want to give up. You literally never know that this may be your next opportunity, may be one application away, one interview away. So stay encouraged, even when it feels hard. Have a friend that you can check in with to me or Marlene is to say, like, I'm having a hard time with this. Can you give me some pointers or give me some feedback? Because I love how Deborah, you said you have your husband look at your emails. Like,
Hmm.
yes, because sometimes sometimes we have our own blind spots where we just don't know
hmm
what we don't know or how something may be perceived. And so it's important to have people that we trust that can give you honest feedback and for us to be open to receive that feedback. So,
Yeah, that
And
is.
I can show you, I pulled it up. Let me share again. I will show you my job tracker.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
So you
Yeah, that
can,
would be
oh,
amazing.
nope, I didn't. Hold on one second. There we go. Share. Now you can see it. So I have,
Mm,
um,
we
there's
can.
my
Oh,
There we
there we
rejected,
go.
go.
but that's okay. So I have like
Wow.
the status, the date, the company, website, the position, the location, contact, type
Hmm.
everything I need. And then you can see like here, I had a referral. Andrew Whiting referred me. And then
Hmm.
I showed how I sent out, thank you. I received the rejection, which, that happens, but I have it tracked. Here I interview with Pilot a couple of times, and you can see I sent a thank you to Julia on 12/3. Then I sent a thank you to Amanda on 1/6, and then Dawn, like because I interviewed with multiple people. Um, and then here's the update. Recruiter informed me it'll be a week until I hear back. And so that's
Yeah.
just kind of notes that you want to keep. And then the other thing is where I found the job. That's another place you want to say, because they might ask you, so you want to say, oh yeah, I saw it on LinkedIn, or I saw it on Indeed. And
Hmm.
yeah. Welcome to the jungle. That's a fun or that's a fun platform for looking
I've
for
never,
jobs in a technical environment.
oh, I've never heard of that one before. And I've
Yeah.
never heard of Ideally. Is that the one you said? Or Idealist?
Idealist.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never heard of that. Also, another shameless plug, the United Way has a job board.
Mm-hmm.
There are four nonprofit jobs in the East Tennessee area. It's a newer job board, so if you're interested in going into nonprofit, there are some jobs that are posted there. And I believe one of the requirements is that they have to have the income or like the pay range on there, which is also super helpful because the worst is when you apply for a job and then you realize that they're paying nothing
hmm
compared to what you had in mind. So I
Yeah.
think that's one of the key requirements for that website and that job board.
That's a good point. And I know I've been asked what my salary range is,
Mm.
but they don't have the job or the salary listed. And so I'll do some research. Now, I don't have the membership of Glassdoor, but my husband does. So I'll ask him to go check. But you can just use ChatGPT and say, what's the job or the
Yeah,
pay rate for barista and at Starbucks, and they're going to tell you so that you
right.
have some sort of range. Because I know, like, I don't want to say, oh, I want 70 to 90, and then they're only at 50, and then they're going to reject me because oh, that's still an opportunity. So
Right.
you have to be careful, or you can say if sometimes it allows you to put words, sometimes it's
Yeah.
just numbers, but if you can put words, like I would say I want to hear more about the opportunity before I give you a
Yeah.
pay rate.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll just put negotiable because
Yeah.
it's like I'm going to
Okay.
negotiate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
going
that's
to
a
ask.
great answer because sometimes I get all of those questions like, should I say that I want this or that? And there's a whole debate about it. And
hmm
I love using ChatGPT for those hard questions because I don't know. And also another thing that I do for with ChatGPT is like um try to ask for how long you have to wait until you should get a job because it all depends on the area that you're applying. And for
Hmm.
example, healthcare, if you're a CNA, there's always a need of CNAs. So
Yeah.
it's faster to get a job in that area than if you're in I don't know, corporate, administrative, whatever, it's
hmm
harder. And I mean, I
Absolutely.
like asking those questions to ChatGPT, and it's always like,
Yeah.
I mean, it gives you the time, and sometimes it's like, oh, it's too long. But I mean, this is a second job, and we have to we have to keep doing it.
Mhm.
It's gonna be worth it. That's the only
Yeah,
thing that I can tell you, that it's gonna be worth it. So
Yeah.
keep doing it.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't know if I don't know,
No,
something else to say, another question.
that's all that I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deborah. The
You're
information was really
welcome.
valuable, and I think this is a great story for the next newsletter because we were kind of talking about this. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be amazing to share with our participants, and I hope they find it valuable because I found it very valuable, very useful. So, let's keep the tracking going.
I
Thank you
love
so
it.
much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.